Pierre Poilievre posted a video on his YouTube channel of him making a very passionate speech about Canadian business owners and Canadian families dealing with extortion. And I'll be honest with you, I knew extortion was a problem. It's always been a problem, but I didn't realize it was this big of a problem. So Pierre Poilievre is going to explain this in a very brilliant video. Now, before we get into this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help grow the channel, and I appreciate you guys so much for doing that. So without further ado, let's have a look, and then we'll talk about it.
You mortgaged your house. You took risks. You stayed up late, wondering how you'd pay the bills.
Sorry, let me start that again, because it cut off the first word there.
You mortgaged your house. You took risks. You stayed up late, wondering how you'd pay the bills. Finally, after all that, a success. A wonderful business with 30 to 50 people, growing every day. Then suddenly the phone rings. On the other end of the line, someone is threatening that if you don't pay millions of dollars to a gang, your house will be burned down, your children's bedroom will be shot up in the middle of the night, or your employees may be killed.
That's the kind of stuff that mafias used to do. Except, to be fair to mafias, they would not get your kids or your wife involved. If they had a problem with you, they would deal with you. If you were a business owner, if they wanted to extort you, they would deal with you. Generally speaking, of course. But now we have different types of gangs and organizations who don't view human life like we do over here. This, of course, is not to say that all immigrants do this. Of course they don't. Most are great people. But the facts are the facts. Some people do come to this country, and they come from other countries where human life doesn't mean shit to them. That's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm talking about. There's lots of countries where the life conditions are extremely harsh, and people get unalived for almost no reason. And again, not that everyone who comes from countries like that are like that. They're trying to escape it for the most part. But when you continue to let people in with an open door, open border policy, of course you're going to have some of these criminals come over here and say, hey, look, so I can go over to this country. They're really soft on crime, and even if they do catch me, which they probably won't, I'll get out on bail, and I can just repeat my criminal actions. That's what Canada's become. It's sad.
Sounds like an extreme case, but now it has become the norm. Radical open door and open border policies by Liberals have allowed gangsters to visit this country, gaining visitor visas granted them without any criminal background checks.
Crazy.
Catch and release laws passed by this Liberal government under C5, which lower the jail sentence for extortion with a gun, have caused the extortion crisis across this country. To put it in perspective, since this Liberal government took office, extortion is up 330%.
Good Lord.
In British Columbia, it's up 400%. In the Lower Mainland, it's up 500%. Countless families have received those threatening phone calls. Just the other day, I met with the sons of a lifelong successful businessman who was mercilessly killed by gangsters without any provocation. People are living in terror in places like Surrey, Northeast Calgary, parts of Edmonton, Brampton, Windsor, and elsewhere. Over the weekend, I attended events at numerous businesses where literally dozens of people have told me they have personally received the threatening phone calls. And so they lie awake at night wondering if a bullet will fly through their children's front window, or if they will be gunned down when they walk out the door. This crisis was entirely avoidable, but Liberal policies have provoked it. They have released the extortionists into the streets with lower prison sentences. They have brought foreign gangsters and criminals to our shores by granting visitor visas and opening up our country to terror. After much pressure from conservatives, they finally agreed to ban the Bishnoi group, but too late. They let the Bishnoi gangsters into this country in the first place because they do not protect our borders, and their radical policies on immigration have endangered many of the very people who came here lawfully.
And that's why you need some form of remigration. Just slowing down immigration isn't enough at this point. We've let in so many people. And again, I'm not saying get rid of the law-abiding citizens, the ones who want to adapt to our culture and obey our laws. I'm saying get rid of the ones who won't. You know how many videos I've seen of people saying that, hey, it's too late to stop us, Sharia law is on its way. And those folks are right if this continues. And you'd think, out of all ideologies, of all groups of people, you'd think feminists would be the ones who would be pissed off the most. But they're not. They're actually the ones who vote liberal the most. Can you believe that? They play victim, vote for policies that victimize them, and then say, poor me. Remember during COVID when all we would hear is consequences for your actions if you don't want to wear a mask? Okay, well, voting is a consequence too, idiot. And you're voting for your own demise. Like, what are you doing? Feminists are probably, if not the dumbest, one of the dumbest groups of people. And yes, there are male feminists too. Yeah, it's if you don't believe me, a lot of you are out west. You probably, if you live in a rural area in Calgary or outside of Calgary or Edmonton, you probably don't hear a lot about this. Yeah, go downtown in any big city, you'll meet a male feminist. God, people are so easily to be indoctrinated. But you have people come over here, and again, I want to make this as loud and as clear as possible. I am not saying that every immigrant does this. Of course they don't. Most don't. But there are people who are understanding the system that we voted in and that it can be taken advantage of very easily. And they're coming here and taking advantage of it. Crazy, right? No way a criminal or criminals would take advantage of a weak justice system. I mean, my God, you've never seen that before. Then they complain. Then they vote for it. How many times have you heard a liberal complain about the crime rate or the inflation rate or man, I went to the grocery store. I bought 10 items and had to pay $20 more than I used to. What the hell's going on here? The government you voted for is what's going on here, dummy. And then what do? They vote for it. My whole adult life, I've heard this phrase. I'm sure you've all heard it too. Well, if you don't vote, you can't complain. Okay. I kind of get that. But here's the real truth. If you vote for a party and they win and you get your way, you can't complain. Because you voted for it. Well, I thought it was different now. After 10 years of liberal tyranny, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I thought it'd be different now. They failed 3 times, so I thought I'd give them a 4th chance. That's like watching a baseball game and an umpire saying, well, that's strike 3, but I like you, so we'll give you another chance. I mean, good Lord. Consequences for your actions. Your voting actions have been stupid, and we're all paying the price for it.
And legitimately. Mr. Speaker, if you look at these facts and you look at the numbers, you have no choice but to conclude that we have a liberal extortion emergency in this country. That people are living in terror. And it is a shame that liberals have allowed this crisis to form and grow. It is a shame that the very communities who have vested support in the Liberal Party are now the ones who are paying the biggest price for the violence and carnage that Liberal policies now unleash. And so we as Conservatives state clearly that extortion is a crisis after 10 years of Liberals, that we need an emergency debate to address this extortion crisis, and that we must enact a serious plan to end the extortion so that Canadian small business owners can go back to living their lives, creating jobs, serving customers, making life affordable again to this country. Our plan is very clear. Mandatory jail time to lock up and throw away the key for extortionists. Stronger borders to keep and kick extortionists out of our country. And a clear self-defense law so that people can protect themselves in their homes when invaded by extortionists or other burglars. Mr. Speaker, this is an emergency. We have the answer. Let us restore safety, tranquility, and peace to our streets.
Well said. That's how a real leader speaks. Clear, concise, he has a plan. The Liberals always say, oh, he's got slogans, but he's never got a plan. He doesn't have solutions. Listen to this video, dummy. He provided multiple solutions. Remigration, self-defense laws. They're just not solutions you agree with because, again, Liberals are nihilistic. They vote for their own demise, the demise of the middle class, which is happening in real time over the past 10 years specifically. Who's been in charge the whole time? Justin Trudeau and markcarney. I mean, can you imagine just... And these idiots, a lot of them they're going to vote for markcarney again whenever there's another election. It's unbelievable. If Pierre Poilievre ran the country like Justin Trudeau did, I would be talking the same smack about Pierre Poilievre. I'm not a staunch conservative. Never have been, never will be. I don't believe in firmly believing in one side no matter what. And yes, I don't criticize Pierre that much, but in my opinion, there's not that much to criticize. If he becomes prime minister and he starts doing what Liberals do, which is screw everything up, then there will be a lot to criticize and you will hear about it. And that might make some of you mad. I can't care. It's not that I don't care, it's that I can't. Because I'm not here to be a conservative or a liberal bootlicker. I am here because I see people are down. They're feeling down and out. I think that if you don't have any hope, that leads to a whole swath of other mental health issues. It's not what we need right now. We need hope. There's some people spreading that message. They do a great job. But everyone's a little bit different. We all got different styles. And I'm here to talk to people, spread awareness. I'm not a journalist, but I do talk about current issues. And I want things to change. And it seems like the people who just vote Liberal over and over again don't. Or they're just so naive that they believe every promise the Liberals make, even though they keep breaking the promises. If someone did that to them in their personal life, they would never tolerate it. But with politics, they do. And I don't get it.